Welcome to episode 8 of Secure My Treasures podcast series. My name is Charlotte Weeks. I'm the founder and the director of Secure My Treasures. We produce these podcasts as a community service. Secure My Treasures is a bank-grade digital safe. If you are a person who has their vital information scattered around different places, or why you don't think anyone would find it in an emergency, Secure My Treasures is right for you. At Secure My Treasures, you can authorize trusted family or friends to access specified information in any emergency. Avoid unnecessary stress, cost, and the frustration of fruitless searching. Our guest today is Rhys Floro, who hails from Kew in Victoria. Rhys is a senior podiatrist who works with the Align Healthcare Collective. Align Healthcare Collective has clinics across Melbourne and in Sydney and Brisbane. In his spare time, Rhys is a personal trainer, and it's fair to say that Rhys likes to keep people in good shape. Welcome, Rhys.
Thanks for having me.
Rhys, would you like to let our listeners in on what a podiatrist does?
Sure. So essentially think of podiatrists as a foot doctor or a lower limb specialist. The perception in the community is changing around what podiatrists do. When I left university, it was very much we treated horns, callus and toenails, and a lot of our profession was centered around geriatric care. Just recently, and as our scope is continuing to increase, as the population grows as well, we're moving into more specialised care, managing knee pain, calf pain, ankle pain, and any foot and ankle issue. And as such, in addition to the skin care and nail care that's is most commonly known, that's essentially what podiatry is.
Oh, it's interesting because when I listen to you say that, it sounds to me more like it's a whole since everything's interconnected.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It starts from the ground up, and we look at a lot of issues that foot and ankle problems can relate to hip pain and lower back pain too. So we look to address joints up the kinetic chain, and if we can influence what the foot does, the point is going to have an effect on the knee joint, the hip joint, and up to the spine as well. So it's a lower limb that we do specialize in.
Interesting. I'm just going to stay with that for a moment because I'm sure lots of older people, the 70-year-olds that I know, complain frequently about hip and knee pain. But I wonder how many of that population, for example, would think maybe it's got something to do with my feet as well.
Yes, that'll be the role of practitioners going forward, and it is making a transition to multidisciplinary care with physiotherapy, connecting with podiatry and other services to provide holistic care. So whilst the pain may be at the knee joint or the hip joint, the foot, ankle, and other joints of the body can influence that pain.
A great answer, because you're really encouraging our listeners to think more holistically about what's going on in your body and to seek timely care.
It's all about preventing the intervention of surgery down the road. So if we can play a small role in potentially avoiding that completely or prolonging the inevitable, that's what a huge part of my role is, and the physiotherapy department, particularly within our business as well.
So how important is podiatry when it comes to all of your health and your health care?
Great question. In providing general health, if our feet are showing good signs of health, whether that be skin, nail, avoiding the potential of infection as such, it really can affect your quality of life. And now our philosophy here at Align Health Collective is keeping people moving, and movement is medicine. It's absolutely so. We're able to keep people moving comfortably and for as long as possible, that is really going to keep people's quality of life intact and essentially keeps people happier as well. So it can be a huge profound effect on health and well-being in a general sense too.
Well, so you'll probably agree that seeing a podiatrist can help prevent falls in older people.
Fine. We see a lot of falls management clients, and there's so much intervention that we can provide from a podiatry perspective. Something as simple as immediate acute care, which is keeping people's nails short, or reducing the accumulation of corns and callus so people can move more efficiently and stop moving in compensatory ways, which can pose a risk to falling over as well. So that's a simple way that we can help prevent falls in the community. Another more complex way to look at it is providing intervention in the form of exercise, orthotics, and of course footwear. So when we consider those three interventions, exercise we can provide in strengthening up muscle tissues. You can move in a more efficient pattern and withstand the demands of a walk down the street or going to the shops or going with friends. So you're able to move more efficiently and more effectively for longer, because we do see if muscle tissue is not strong enough to walk or to get out of each chair, quality of life again declines. That's one way we can provide intervention. There's other specific types of ways we can provide assistance to prevent a fall. We look at things like proprioceptive training, which is people's ability to understand where they are in space. And so the neurological measure is that the brain can send the feet and the lower limb, and then getting that feedback back to the brain. So balance exercises can be as simple as balancing on one leg. There's so many progressions that we can see providing that balance retraining. And then moving into more passive side of management as well, we can look at orthotic intervention, which is like inner soles, to redistribute those pressures in the foot. And then finally looking at footwear, having something that's a sturdy sole, non-slip, that addresses all the needs of a particular foot and ankle. Give you an example of my grandmother, for example, who's well in her 80s, who's also a client of mine. And we've applied multiple different interventions there, which is, as I said earlier, is keeping her nails nice and trim so they're not pushing the end of their shoes, reducing any pain from corns or callus. And we've also acquired things like orthotics to help her move more efficiently, keep her movements in control to some capacity, and then providing good shoes as well. So allowing her to, when she needs to be more mobile, have a good pair of shoes that's sturdy, got some support, a nice firm heel counter, and they just allow her to move a little bit more efficiently when she needs to go out for the day.
Oh, that's so good of you to take care of your grandma. Everyone likes someone touching their feet. And I think that there's people that adverse enough to someone touching their feet to stop them from going to a podiatrist. What advice can you give?
It's a really good question. It is something that we come across quite commonly. People usually enter the clinic room and will say, I don't like to have more feet touch, full transparency. And I find that once we get talking to people, we develop that rapport, get that subjective questioning of why they're here, their intention for coming to see a podiatrist, with probably knowing that there's going to be some form of foot touching involved to understand pain and their capacity of movement and touch. So once people are aware of what is going to happen, I think the context plays a huge role, and people feeling more comfortable with a professional touching their feet. You probably got family members or friends who love having their feet rubbed. There's probably those members as well who can't stand having their feet touched, but a lot of times context, family members are touching their feet. People just generally say they don't like it. They're probably not. But if people are coming in with a purpose, you've spoken to them openly and freely and there to address their issues, generally people feel more comfortable in that situation.
I hope that people who are ticklish or genuinely don't like their feet being touched will give podiatry a chance. What should listeners do to take better care of their own feet?
Yeah, I think it's a really nice way to end So with any sort of healthcare intervention or getting any assistance, it's about monitoring your own signs and symptoms. If you're noting any change visibly, see whether it's a discoloration of nails, skin, or redness, or anything like that, you would look to seek intervention sooner rather than later. If you do it sooner, typically the outcome is going to happen a lot sooner for you. Same thing with your symptoms too. If you've got pain in your foot or ankle or any other place in your body for that matter, if you prolong the action to get intervention, and the outcomes and the process is going to take a lot longer. Whereas if proactive pain, you notice a consistent pattern to pain, you present pretty early and the intervention is going to apply early to you and generally going to get a better outcome sooner. It is quite a common thing that we see with feet is people put up with the pain. It feels like it may just go away on its own, but the reality is it doesn't. So people have to seek intervention. And once they do, they really do see the relief it can provide.
Yes, I can vouch for that. Thanks, Rhys. So if you've got pain in your feet or change colour or things aren't feeling right, looking right, get along to Rhys. But first we need to know how you can contact him.
So I work myself in EQ at Cochrane Road there. It's at Align Health Clinic. You can visit us online at alignhc.com.au. You can call our friendly reception staff, 9853 7836. We're here from Monday to Saturday, pretty much 12 hours a day from 7 to 7, Monday to Friday. And on Saturdays, we cover 8 o'clock to 2. And of course, we're on all the socials as well, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So check us out.
And we better just say that's a Q Victoria because there's a Q in New South Wales.
Yes, it's noted as Q Victoria.
Thanks so much for joining us today, Rhys. I'm sure our listeners will be much wiser with your practical advice and knowledge on good foot care. To our listeners, please head over to the Secure My Treasures YouTube channel or the podcast page on our website where you can hear all of our podcasts. That's www.securemytreasures.com, where you can live it, love it, and lock it.